I'm coming from the frame point of a Facebook marketer, right? And I know that we have to think of things in an omni-channel fashion because performance marketing is talking about the whole funnel, omni-channel, all of that stuff. And to be fair, Google Ads isn't necessarily what I'm good at. I know why it's valuable. I know how to value it. But from your perspective, I'm really curious, like, how do you go about caring about the real world needs of clients when focusing on Google Ads? Because it seems like it's so easy to juice the numbers. And I don't know, like, I see so many folks saying those numbers just can't be real. The numbers are too high. Let me spend more. And then I spend a bunch more and I make no more money.
Yeah. So I think we have to start from the principle that whenever you think you're influenced by some kind of ad out there, it puts a thought or it puts an idea in somebody's brain. And that idea sometimes ends up in the Google search field or somewhere alongside of, hey, I want to look for reviews of this product, or I want to look for YouTube reviews of that product. And as soon as you start using those products, it's very likely that Google is entering that touch point area, that whole journey, as we like to call it. Obviously, it will piggyback on the success of a top of funnel strategy that roll out through Facebook or TikTok or whatever. Obviously, that will piggyback on it, but you have to understand that as soon as you ignore that or neglect that impact on somebody's searching behavior or browsing behavior, that there will be others who will jump on that train and they'll benefit from the demand that you're generated. So that will be like the idea, the concept, the vision that I would present somebody who's skeptical of using Google Ads. That's the vision. And then you have the practical implementation of, hey, how does this affect my numbers? It's very common that we see overlap. It's very common that we see overlap in touch points, which will then require you to run your numbers on the larger scale of things. Don't just look at your channels data and see it as a simplistic one-dimensional traffic acquisition channel, but rather zoom out, perform different tests, hold out tests if you really want to. I'm not a big fan of all or nothing. You can, on product level, if you have multiple products, you can hold out one product for a while and see if that impacts your overall product sales for that particular SKU. All that kind of stuff will help you to holistically approach it and then value Google Ads on a more realistic scale. And then maybe you're not that panicked about those inflated numbers anymore.
Yeah, no, I love that, because one of the things that we talk about in Disruptor School, the Facebook Ads MBA program, and I feel like more and more people are getting around the world, is that platform level attribution has value, but also you can't look at the ROAS number, for instance, or like the CPM on any
It's
channel.
not your favorite KPI, is it?
Look at that, right?
Yeah.
So I think the great thing that you said here is looking at how it impacts everything and really thinking of it as part of the funnel. Because I'll tell you the complete inverse. Like, I remember taking a brand to paid social maybe 7-8 years ago, and it was like a hair supplement brand. And they were all Google ad experts. And I was running Facebook ads. They were like, we're getting a 12x on Google and we're getting a 2 on Facebook. And like, Facebook is dumb. And they got rid of it. And it's funny, they're still trying to hire for somebody to fit that role. And I think what they missed entirely is the idea of how they're complementary. You can't compare apples to apples, right? It's not the same thing. One allows, I like to think of it, and let me see what you think of this, is I like to think of it as Google is an intent conversion platform. Facebook is an intent creation platform. And if you think of them in that symbiotic fashion, a great use of Facebook ads or organic or YouTube or TikTok or whatever is to massively amplify the opportunity that Google has to bring in very high profit margin transactions.
The thing is also, I think that's on point. I totally agree. I think what you have to be aware of is that there's obviously multiple stages that people go through. In the end, like if people don't know the product, if they're not aware of the product, if they're not aware of the service, we can talk about all kinds of verticals. But in general, somebody's not aware and you reach them through a top of funnel strategy, then you cannot expect the same conversion rates and thus not the same profitability on that level as you could expect if somebody's really really ready to buy or really ready to engage with whatever he's looking for. And again, the Google search is when people are searching literally for what they need, and you have stages within that search. You can say, hey, I'm looking for new sneakers, or you can really look for those Nike Air Max, I don't know, Air Jordan with red stripes on them and with the latest blue laces in it. That is very specific, which is more likely that if you show that ad, they will convert much more quickly. However, those are different stages, and I would definitely, not underestimate the impact of those.
Yeah, I love how you're putting that. And maybe we can pivot slightly here and from awareness to purchase, right? That's the funnel. Like, where do you find the role of Google Ads in your sales funnel? Like, when you're thinking about it, where do you find its role to be best fit?
I would really say that we're talking about middle of funnel to bottom of funnel strategies. So I would say, especially on search, right? Search and shopping, those are two similar channels. They're all both on the Google search platform, and they show up in the same search result page, right? So we should take a look at those elements separately in the end, but I would, just for the simplicity, I would count them as one. And it is because when somebody's basically intent, we see a much higher conversion rate if they're already a little bit more specific, because Google is also searched or used as a research platform for everything you want to know, right? How does this work? What is this? What is this kind of idea? So if you're having a product within a vertical that is also likely, I don't know, what could we say? Fashion in general. Like if you would say Armani, you could look for more information about a watch or some dress or like basically the designer, behind it, and have no intent to buy. So if you show up with your shopping products and your search products or search ads, it's not necessarily going to lead to a sale. But if you're looking for a specific thing in terms of, I want to have those new Armani watches. I want to have the Armani watch with this particular element in that, a black one. Then Google shows you those 5, 6 out there. And if you're part of those 3 ads or 4 ads that are visible, chances are there that you're going to sell that watch to that person. So it's, there's levels, but I would say middle of funnel, bottom of funnel is where we see the most effect and impact on the overall strategy.
Yeah, I love the way you put that. And it's funny. So full transparency, we've done a masterclass with you inside the Facebook Ads MBA program. And we can talk about that in a little bit, where you've taken, I love it. I've told people, I literally did this myself. In 20 minutes, I took my best 5 Facebook ads and I built a Google search campaign built around that. And like with the Notion doc and ChatGPT and the Google Ads editor, went from no ad live to completely built out search. And it's getting more and more effective for what it's worth. Like a little bit of feedback. It's been live for 3 weeks and my CPC has dropped by 60 some odd %. I've actually been able to cut the budget as my volume of sales increases. Yeah. And what I've noticed, which I didn't appreciate at the time, was that because it was using the great Facebook stuff, what it was doing was it was working simpatico, and that it was so effectively capitalizing on the intent using the same language and thought process, and it just worked so well at creating that mid and bottom funnel without having to reinvent the wheel. And it worked. It's almost stupid that it worked. Like I didn't want this to work, but it did. So, it's funny. I was going to Geek Out, the Nick Shackelford stuff, and I ordered a Lyft, and it was like, okay, it's gonna be 20 some odd minutes, 15 minutes, whatever. And I was literally like, all right, I'm gonna go do this thing. And like before the car got to my house, I went from completely built out successful Facebook campaign to completely built out successful Google campaign that has improved, has allowed me to scale my efficiency about 20-30% on the acquisition of traffic for that offer, and just night and day difference. And I turned off all the other campaigns that I had built as a Google marketer trying to run Google ads, because I was just like, this is dumb. So for what it's worth, love that. We'll drop a link down below to that masterclass, because it's super crazy effective and basically Facebook ads for Google search.